to the Shot Clock podcast with me, Jago. A bit of a break from the norm today. I'm sitting down with a non-Super League player for the very first time, but if it was going to be anybody, he'd have to be from basketball royalty. The Blount family, synonymous with Dublin basketball, synonymous with Cork basketball, and with Irish basketball in general. I'm sitting down with the one, the only Jordan Blount. Welcome to the podcast.
Man, pleasure to be here. Thanks very much for having me.
Look, I'm delighted to have you on. I have to say, we were just speaking briefly there. Like, our families go way, way back. Like I said, you're from good stock. Me and Connor go way back. Everybody. I played against your dad. I was on the receiving end of some of those beautiful elbows. Your uncle Pat. I remember when like Gary, Pat, and Connor all played for Rathmines.
Yeah.
I was
with Des Fitzgerald coaching.
With Des and all, yeah. I was just a pinball man. Like I'd go into the paint and just get bounced around. But the great thing about them all was once that final whistle went, it was a hug.
Cool as a breeze.
We walked away. It was the ball was on the court, and that's what I loved about it. Absolutely adored them all. Adored your old man. What a legend. Very sad when he passed, as I'm sure you were. But look, big shout out, Gary. We're still thinking of you.
Yep, 100% appreciate it.
No problem. Right, so let's get going. I'm going to start the same way I've started them all. COVID-19.
Yeah.
Now that we're coming out of it, how's life been for you? I know you were in Spain last season.
I've been quite lucky through the whole period of COVID, really. Like COVID kind of struck right towards the end of my senior season in college. So I got to actually come home and spend quite a lot of time with my family that I didn't before. Do you know what I mean? So for me, my COVID experience compared to everyone else's was a little bit different. Because then I went to Spain, played professionally, and for us, COVID was borderline non-existent because we were doing everything that we will be doing, going to practice, going to games, going on the road. And when you're doing all that, you're not doing a whole lot of other things. And in season for us in Spain, like the restrictions weren't crazy. Like we had a curfew, we had to be in home by 10, then it got moved up to midnight. And the only real thing was everyone was wearing a mask everywhere. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, so like my whole COVID experience has been a breeze, really. I've had a good time.
And then obviously back with the Irish senior team now. So, you know, you're an elite athlete. You get to train with the team when the team trains. So, look, you're one of the lucky ones being indoors.
Yeah, very, very, very lucky. Touching wood, that I do get blessed to be able to be inside a gym in this country because nobody is. So very, very thankful to be able to do that at the moment.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. Look, we'll go back to the start. We'll go through your career. We'll talk a bit about the upcoming Europeans and your future plans. But let's start with who, what, or why inspired you to hoop?
So anyone who knows me knows that that's my dad, 100%. Everywhere my dad went since I was like 5, 6, 7 years old, I wanted to go, whether he was reffing, coaching, playing. I was there shooting the ball in timeouts. And then I remember the first game that I played, like first real game in the Parochial Hall, I kind of played well, and my dad was like, "Oh, you're actually, not bad." And then from that point on, it was always just trying to make my dad happy, trying to make my dad proud. And the easiest way for me to do that, outside of just being a regular person, whatever, blah blah blah, was through basketball. My dad just got so much joy from basketball and loved seeing me do well. So he was my inspiration for every step of my career, and still is. So yeah, my dad, 100%.
Yeah, look, if you're going to impress anybody on basketball courts, it's going to be Gary Blount. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I'll never forget. There was a game up in the hall, and the Parochial Hall is divided into 2 courts, so the seats are in the middle, and we're playing against Fala Matthews, under 14s, big time game now. Do you know what I mean? And I missed a free throw just off the side, and I missed a couple more in a row, and then on the last one. And I knew my dad was over in the corner standing there. He was pissed. So I missed the next one, and I'm like, fuck. And I look over, and he takes 2 steps onto the court, takes his glasses off. He's like, "Do you want them?" So trying to not have too many of them moments was the goal, really.
He was a high percentage free throw shooter.
Yeah, man. He was all hooks and free throws. That was it. He wasn't doing much other than that, but he shoot a hook from the 3-point line.
and he'd hit it consistently. I've been on the, like I said to you, I've been on the receiving end. Like, Many
Yeah.
times.
A lot of stories about him and his elbows.
Oh yeah. I think like of a scar. I think it's just there. I
Yeah.
can't remember whether it was him or Pat though, or both of them at once.
One of
I'm
them.
not really sure. It was one of them. It could have been Connor and Trent. Like I really don't know. Somebody hit me. It was a Blount.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
It was an elbow, one of them.
So look, through the years, you played underage in Cork. You left home very early, heading to Spain. Big
Yeah.
shot. Or sorry, UK first.
Yeah, I went to England first. So I went to Plymouth first. As kind of like a trial run of whether I could go away or not in terms of just living. Like it was close enough to home that if anything went wrong, I could come back on half an hour flight. But it was far enough away that I was able to be independent. So England was the first step, and then moved on to Spain.
And that, like, through that transition, you were what, 15 when you moved away? 16?
Yeah, so I left right after my junior cert.
So, you know, for our younger listeners, let's speak on that a little bit. Like, how is that transition?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that for me was just like I have a big personality, and it was just about being open to everything that I was coming into. You know what I mean? Like I was around pros the whole time, and I was around a lot of high level coaches, and I was around all these kind of people. And for me, it was kind of like honing my personality down a little bit and just being an open book and trying to take everything in, because at the end of the day, I was a kid in professional setups and everything like that. So like my biggest thing, and I guess my advice to young kids trying to go away, is just be a complete sponge and take in every single thing you can, because I'm at a point now where everything that I learned in England and all the connections and relationships I built in England are now coming to the fore and are going to be a part of my life going forward from from this day forward. So it's all about relationship building. And yeah, just being an open book and being accepting of every bit of knowledge you can get.
Great advice. So who's been your favorite teammate over the years and why?
Yeah, so I've had so many teammates because I've played on so many different teams, and there's going to be a lot of different people mad at this when they hear it, because I've had so many, like Adrian O'Sullivan was a great teammate for me through the years, and a bunch of guys in Spain that not a lot of Irish listeners would know. But in terms of just the guy that I would turn to no matter what, on the court, off the court, relationship that we had since we were very young, would probably be Kyle Hosford. Both of us grew up on the north side of Cork, a lot of commonalities in how we grew up and our mindsets, this, that, and the other. And if I'm going to go to war with anybody, like even now, like in practices with the Irish team, if he sees me going a little bit too much, he'd just give me a look and I'll be like, okay, I have to calm it down now. And I know that from him, and he knows how to gauge me in the right way, So it's, Kyle's a great teammate. He'll go to war for you, whether you're right or wrong, he'll still go. So yeah, Kyle is definitely up there for my one.
I've heard some absolutely fantastic stories, and other people speak so highly of him.
Yeah,
I'm going to sit down and talk to him at some point. You know what I mean?
And he's definitely a guy you want on your side for sure.
Yeah, deadly, absolutely brilliant. Right, so through your time, Plymouth, Spain, did you go JUCO?
No, so I went Plymouth, Spain, prep school.
Prep school.
Yeah.
Prep school, then to UIC.
Prep school, then to college. Yeah.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. First time in Chicago. What was your feeling? What was the you walk on campus for the first time?
Yeah, I remember flying in for my visit, and it was just the vibe of the city was just crazy. Like I flew into Chicago here, and one of the busiest airports in the world. And then on the way driving into the city, traffic, crazy, like literally like so cliche, but literally felt like I was watching a movie. And then just get into the city, and like we were very lucky. Like two of the main streets in Chicago is Halstead and Roosevelt, and they meet in the middle right here, and that's kind of where our university starts. And it's like right smack in the middle of everything. So it was, for me, being and having the personality that I have, being Irish and being like, I love big cities. It was, man, it just fit perfect. And yeah, I just loved it. As soon as I had a couple of visits before that, and I had one or two visits after that, but I actually committed on my visit. I was like, yeah, I want to come here, coach. So it was, it was perfect. The fit was amazing.
Chicago's an amazing city. I've been there once. Very weird trip. I went over for Paddy's Day. I stayed in the House of Blues Hotel. So no,
Oh
beside
wow, yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you're
right
down
on
there
the
beside
river.
the two car
The
parks
two
that
car
go up like
parks, yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So stayed there. Had no idea. I was going over to watch a game. I ended up sitting beside the governor of Illinois as Chicago played Seattle
Oh wow.
on the halfway line because a friend of mine had sold him a Jack Russell dog. I swear to God.
What an Irish story.
Yeah. But the Commitments were playing that night in the hotel.
Okay.
So the stars of the Commitments.
What a trip.
It was unbelievable. I ended up drinking till like 6 a.m. with like the stars of the Commitments. You know what I mean?
That's mad.
You go to bed, you wake up the next morning, you go,
You're like, did that happen?
Yeah, it was one of those like head scratching moments where I went, Jesus.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Chicago. The food,
Yeah.
such a great food.
Because it's like a melting pot for so many different cultures. Do you know what I mean? So you get to experience like there's little Italy, little China, there's Mexican places, it's everything.
Like the jambalaya and the Creole stuff as well was just man,
so good, man, so good.
I'm hungry now. So look, over the years, toughest person to guard, and who was the one person you hated going up against?
The toughest person to guard was probably Jonathan Isaac. He's like 7 foot, plays for the Orlando Magic right now. I played against him in prep school, and he was just like 7 foot playing the three. And it was just so hard to guard. Like he's coming down, crossing over, shooting fadeaways, all that kind of stuff. It was just very, very tough to guard. And then the hardest person that I've probably gone up or used to hate guarding me, or probably not on a consistent basis, but the toughest person that I had guard me was probably PJ Washington. Played for Kentucky. He plays for the Hornets now. And he was just, I got pushed to the 4 early in my career in college. And it was a lot to deal with to begin with, especially like my first 2 or 3 games. I was the 3, and then our 4 got hurt. So go play the 4, or they put me at the 4. And just that kind of strength and physicality at the level of Kentucky, like PJ Washington, absolute beast. He was probably the toughest person for sure.
How did you make that transition from 3 to 4? Because what do you
see
as your natural position?
Put on a lot of weight. It was quite smooth for me. Just because, like, I would pride myself on my knowledge of the game and being able to know different spots and play different spots. So playing the 4 was actually really, really advantageous for me, because as soon as I like kind of fit into the role, I had a lot of mismatches that worked for both ends. You know what I mean? I was either quicker than the 4s that couldn't guard, or I was able to post up smaller guys that they would put on me. So it was quite probably the perfect role for me, to be honest.
And now with the Irish team, where are you? 3-4?
Now with the Irish team, 3-4. Yeah, so 4-3. Even sometimes a little bit of the 5 if we want to go small ball. But yeah, same thing though. It's just like the way basketball is going now as well is every team has a versatile 4.
Yeah.
That puts the ball on the floor, brings the ball up, gets a rebound, goes. So it's like I love playing this position.
So we're gonna switch questions around a little bit, because I want to get to your superstitions after the next question, because you, like me,
100%. Yeah.
So look, 100%. What's your favorite kicks of all time? If you could make a JB13 shoe, what are you going for?
Probably. So you remember the Hyperfuse 2010s? So they were like high top with a kind of mesh net kind of thing. They were just the most comfortable shoes I wore ever, and I loved them. I got so many pairs of them. So either those or the Kobe 5s. I just don't have the ankles for the Kobe 5s anymore.
No, I'd love full length boots that like go like ankle to hip. And that way I know nothing's gonna break.
Yeah. He actually had a pair of those.
What are you wearing now?
What am I wearing now? I'm wearing Hardens now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which?
They're just since I went to college, we were all Adidas, and I haven't had to buy a pair of basketball shoes since college. So I'm still rocking with all them. I've got a couple of pairs I haven't even worn yet.
It's always nice. It's always nice to be handed free shit.
Yeah, definitely. Don't get that anymore.
No, Irish team don't have a shoe sponsor at the minute, do they?
No, sir. I think we're a long way away from shoe sponsors.
My last
Say
year,
that again?
we had Reebok, I think, my last year.
Really?
Under 19.
Yeah, I'd say we're a long way away from shoe sponsors again.
Oh, I don't think so. Look, we'll segue now into the Irish team just before we go to your superstitions. So you've made the senior team. You're getting ready for what are they being the small countries
European Championships for small
championships?
countries.
Yeah. So it's going to be you, Luxembourg.
No, so we play.
Sorry, it's all the A's. Andorra.
Yeah, Andorra, San Marino, Malta, and Gibraltar.
Oh, okay,
So a small tournament.
How are you feeling? How's the team looking? I saw the team when it was announced. I think it's a perfect balance of veterans and youth coming in. As I said to you on camera, I think it's probably the most recent Irish team that I can think of with a lot of professional players on it.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. You've got a great coaching setup there as well. Are you and Jason Clean the only two returning players from the last small country?
Jason's actually not a returner. Jason never played on any of the teams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he got injured in the last tournament. So myself, Adrian O'Sullivan, and Lorcan, since the return of the senior team back in 2015, I think it was, we're the only three that have been on all three teams. So yeah, we're the three returners, so to speak.
Nice. So how's things shaping up? How are you feeling?
Good, man. Really, really good. I'm very excited. We played against Slovakia a couple of weeks ago or 2 weeks ago. And again, we lost the game, which was devastating, to be honest, because we should have won. But in terms of chemistry and how we play and the style we play, it gave me a lot of confidence and actually surprised me a little bit about how well we gelled on the court, because off the court stuff is always quite easy. Do you know what I mean? Especially with Irish people, we're always going to connect. We're always going to rip the mick out of each other. Do you know what I mean? We're always going to be fine in that regard. We always will be. But it's on the court when you're dealing with someone like me and John, like two pros, Sean Flood, Adrian O'Sullivan, CJ, a young guy, Jason, an old guy. You know what I mean? You have a big dynamic, and it's like, yeah, it looks great, but will it work? And it seems to be like it is. You know what I mean? So I'm excited. I know the group are excited. We just, for me, it's going to be all about us. Do you know what I mean? If we anything less than a gold for me is a disappointment. Do you know what I mean? I think that that's the level we're at now, and that's the level that we need to be at. So I'm excited. I think we're shaping up really nice.
You know what? It's refreshing to hear an Irish player aim for gold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For too long, we settle. And we
100%. It's like, and we kind of touched on it before. Yeah. We touched on it before we started. It's just the time for moral victories is gone. Do you know what I mean? It's not, we can't be happy with only losing by this and only losing by that. We have to really try and win. And when we don't, okay, what do we got to do to win the next one? You know what I mean? It's not, it's the whole moral victory thing. For me, it was always like, no, it's not about that. We have to try and win the game.
I thought looking at the under-18s last week, from their first loss to finishing with a win, coaches made adjustments every game. Mm-hmm. Small adjustment, win.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
Now we push on from that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the attitude. Right, we lost. Where do we go wrong?
Exactly.
I think video is very important.
Huge thing. Huge. And Scout and stuff like that is...
The Huddle app, I think, Huddle, get on board with Basketball Ireland. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had Lindsay Pete on the previous episode. She was talking about the Irish rugby team using Huddle.
Yeah, I mean, in prep school, we used Huddle everywhere. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's definitely something. There's another one called VO. It's kind of like the same idea, maybe not as advanced in basketball as Huddle will be, but another great thing. You know what I mean? Like, those are things that we should definitely be trying to implement.
I remember coming back to the league in 2006 with Shamrock Rovers Hoops, Kevin Young, who's now gone on to be an assistant coach with the
Shamrock Rovers Hoops, man.
Yeah. Even saying it sounds like a million years ago. Jesus. Right? But Kevin used to do like clip our games. And like I was 30 at the time, and I'm like, damn, what's this?
Yeah.
So when I went playing back with Vincent's last year, D2 or 2 years ago, D2, I got all our games taped and I clipped our games and we watched them back.
It makes such a difference.
Girls played a friendly 2 weeks ago, an outdoor friendly against an A team. I videoed the game.
Yeah.
Sent it to them. You need to watch, figure out where you're going wrong, what we're missing, and let's come back and talk about it. Video
Yeah.
analysis is so important.
It's huge. It's huge. Like
And we need
I
to
look at
utilize it
when,
more.
yeah, and I look at like when we were in college, we knew everything about everyone we were playing against. Like to the point of like we knew if he caught it into a 1-2 shot from the left wing, he's only 11% from there. But if he did the same thing on the right wing, he's 40 something. Do you know what I mean? Like that's how in tune they are with it in the States. And even like at a pro level last year, like we watched so much film. It's yeah, I mean it just prepares you. You know, preparation is key.
And it's funny because here, like you know, with child protection and that, you have to get permission from
Yeah.
the team. But I think it should be just written into the constitution of the leagues.
Yeah,
If
100%.
you're signing into the league, you consent to be videoed, because
Yeah.
that's the only way we as
But I feel like under 18 is probably the age that you can start that at.
yeah, and just pushing on and get people
Yeah.
like, as you said, he's an 11% shooter from the left wing. He's 47 from the right. How do we know that? Because I've watched hours of tape.
Yeah. And we know, you know what I mean? And that changes, and then that changes your defense. Like, oh, he catches on this wing, back up. You know what I mean? You can be an extra help guy on this side. But when it's there, we need help from someone else for you. Do you know what I mean? It changes so many things. It changes the perspective of the game.
But look, I think more coaches need, you know, I'd love to see Basketball Ireland run a video analysis course for coaches.
Yeah.
I think it would be fantastic and will benefit our game.
100%.
No doubt. Look, best of luck in the small countries. I'm really excited. You've got some great coaches there with Mark and Puff.
Yeah, the staff is unbelievable.
Staff are fantastic. And then look, you've coaches on the court as well with Jason, with you know, Lorco, yourself, you know, Kyle, you know, CJ to a lesser extent, Sean Flood, who's played pro. Like you're a team full of I call it professionals.
Yeah. I mean, you look at like in terms of who are like legit pros, like we have 5 guaranteed. You know what I mean? And then you look at the people who maybe aren't deemed pros, but like Larkin. Like Larkin could be a pro if he wanted.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? And that's just one example. And then you look at CJ, who's going to a top D1 school, and man, like Irish basketball at a senior level, and it's the next couple of years are going to be very, very exciting.
Yeah, I think we're safe. I think we're safe.
Yeah.
I think we're safe. Yeah. Great to see though. It's great to see because we lost 10 years there because of
100%.
mismanagement. You know what I mean? And we lost a lot, like the likes of Paul.
And that's what it went down to. That was the pity about it. It went down to that.
Yeah. You know, like we lost out on so many good years of great players coming through. But hey, look, let's build again. That's
100%.
Right. So we'll get back to these questions. Superstitions. Have you any? Like
so I mean, you could call it superstition or not, but like I have to wear 13. Do you know what I mean? Have to wear it. It's been driven into me since I was a kid. Do you know what I mean? And it just became something that meant so much to me and my dad. But that may not be a superstition, more of a want, so to speak. But like one superstition I do have is I have to wear plain white socks from either Duns or Pennies when I play. I swear to God.
How Irish is that?
Yeah. Adrian O'Sullivan was my teammate in Spain this year, and you could ask him, he'd tell you, like, I would wear Jordan socks or Nike socks walking around the place. But when I play, it's white from Pennies or Duns. So I stock up on white socks from Pennies and Duns before I leave every year. Yeah. It was that comes from my dad too. My dad used to hate young kids because when I was young, that was kind of when all the mad colors started coming in, all the sleeves, all the leg tights, all that. My dad hated it. He hated accessories. He's like, all you need is your boots and a pair of clean white socks. So white socks from Pennies and Duns do the job.
Brilliant. I think if Gary had played football like his dad did before him, he'd be the black boot guy.
Yeah, my dad did play football.
Yeah, did he? Yeah.
Played for the Dublin Miners.
No way.
Swear to God, yeah.
Oh, he was definitely like a black, just plain black.
Yeah, strict. Yeah.
Plain black boots. None of this, you know, F50s with like the
no, not at all. Furthest from it. The most plain, strict, black and white type of guy.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Look, you and 4 others are going to a pickup game. Who are you taking?
So I would go.
All family.
Yeah, right. Just my family, myself, my dad, my two uncles, and my brother. But besides those, I would go. So me, Jer Noonan, and my three guards from college. So Godwin Bowen, Marcus Addy, and Tarkus Ferguson. But yeah, me and Noonan, ball screen all day. Oof, no problem.
Jer Noonan, what a guy. Love him.
Yeah.
Love him.
Yeah, Jer is the man. Jer will be the best man at my wedding.
Hey, look, you're not the only one. Who else was talking about? Oh, wasn't it? He was talking about Dennis Wallace.
Oh yeah. Wallace. Throw him in the corner. All he do is shoot.
Wallace, we call him Dirk in our masters group. another shout out to Dennis Wallace. He's been all over my my WhatsApp today. So yeah, here we go again. Dennis he's such a great guy. Top 5 musical artists of all time. Yeah,
this was tough because I listen to so many different genres. But I went with, so my 5 would be Michael Jackson, Jennifer Hudson, The Weeknd, Prince, and Nas.
Holy shit!
Yeah, so I tried to get a
all
variety.
Over the map. That's everywhere.
Yeah, I tried to get a variety because like my rap top 5 would be this, my soul top 5 would be that, my R&B top 5 would be this. You know what I mean? So I tried to get a mix of, like, my number 1 for sure is Michael Jackson, and then The Weeknd is right up there. And then like Nas is probably my top 3 rappers. I love Prince. I love Jennifer Hudson. It was tip for tat with her and Whitney. So I went with J Hud.
J Hud's pretty special. Whitney though.
Yeah, Whitney tough. It's tough. Jennifer's just been so relevant in my life the last year in terms of what I've been listening to. So I went with her.
The soundtrack to your youth. Imagine like you're going to be sitting back in like 20 years time going, Jesus Christ, a song will come on the radio and you'll go,
yeah, man.
That takes me right back to that tapas bar in Spain. You know?
Sitting drinking beers with another car class.
Yeah. How weird was that though, you and Sully teaming up like in Spain?
Yeah, I mean it was I don't want to say scripted, but like it was definitely like sought out after, because like I had like the first club that I played for, I had a really bad experience with when my father passed, and I spoke about that in other interviews. And then I went on a short-term contract to a different team, and when that ended, I had a couple of different options to go elsewhere. But like, given the year that was in it, the opportunity came, and it was like, when will I ever get to play with another Cork guy, let alone another Irish guy? When will I ever get another chance to play with someone that I know since I was a kid, and still play at a very high level? And like, Adrian is 28 now, so like I didn't know how many more years he's going to want to be away. So I was like, yeah, let's go do it. You know what I mean? 3-4 months left the season. Why not? You know, so went, did it, and loved it. It was amazing.
So where are you going next year?
I can't spill the beans just yet. Basically just because I don't know. Have a couple of looks in a couple of different countries that are all very interesting. So
warm or cold countries, Jordan? Warm or cold?
Just both, that.
Yeah, both. Very diplomatic.
Warm,
Irish.
Cold. Yeah.
You know,
I have to keep my cards close to my chest.
Damn, I thought you were going to spill.
Couple more weeks, I'll make an announcement.
Brilliant. Look, come back on the show and make the announcement.
Yes, sir.
So you're the DJ. What 3 songs are we warming up to?
This was tough as well. But again, so I'd start with, my first one would be March Madness by Future. Second one, Hit 'Em Up by Tupac.
Yeah.
And then third one, Back to Back by Drake.
Okay.
Yeah. So 3, the first one is kind of just gets you going. The next 2 are very aggressive.
Lindsay Pete like eased herself in. You know what I mean? She went, who was first? Second was Missy Elliott, and third was Firestarter. And I was like,
oh wow.
I can see that.
Hit 'Em Up by Tupac will have me running through a wall. It's just, every line is just so aggressive. Yeah.
Not what you really need, Jordan, though. That's, you know what I mean? Do you not need to put yourself down before a game?
Yeah.
It's like you're the 100% guy all the time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's true.
A bit of
it's because I listen to these songs.
Because Grania Dwyer was like, oh, I love a bit of Whitney before a warm up or in a warm up, and I was kind of looking at
No. It depends on the game. Like if I have a long road trip to a game, like anything over 2 hours, I'll have very mellow music going. But if I'm like in the bus on the way to the gym, no, it's crazy time.
So look, you're again. We go back to this Irish team setup. You're going into the bubble,
Mm-hmm.
a la NBA. So are you staying in the Grand Floridian, or what amazing hotel are we in for the Irish
So
basketball?
we are in the Louis Fitzgerald. Yeah. So
With that amazing view of the Circle K garage.
yeah, absolutely. I
Wow.
mean, you thought the Disney bubble was good. Wait till you see this.
Hey, look, I'll let you in on a secret. So my buddy owns a pizza and wings place about 5 minutes from the Louis Fitz.
Oof. Yeah.
Woodford, big
Send that
shout
number
out,
through to me
Ian and
after.
Rory. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
get you the number, and I'll make sure the boys look after you.
Unbelievable. Can't wait.
Oh yeah, like proper. This is
Yeah.
proper.
He left leave it outside the door now, given this whole bubble situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No trips to Circle K for Luke's age.
And you laugh about that. We're actually not allowed. Like it's that strict. Like like we're not even allowed to go for walks. Like we are if we're not in the gym, we're in the hotel.
In your room.
Yeah. Quite literally. Do you know what I mean? It's it's very, very strict.
Xbox or PlayStation?
I do. I have 2 PlayStations going, actually. So, and we got a bunch of stuff that we're bringing into it. Like, so we're lucky in that regard that we're the host country, so we get to bring in what we want. Whereas like people fly in with all their baggage, they can't bring stuff. You know what I mean? So we got a dartboard going, a table tennis table. Yeah, so it'll be nice. It'll be fine. Yeah. I'm not in college anymore. I can do that.
Well, that's it. You can afford to play now. Excellent.
Yeah.
So look, as we touched on earlier on, you moved away at 15 to find your path in life.
Yeah.
If you could sit down with 16-year-old Jordan, based on everything that's happened over your career and your life, especially the last year, 2 years, what advice would you give yourself?
There'd be 2 different things that I would tell myself. So like the one thing, the first one would be try to get home a little bit more. I went long stints without coming home, all in the goal of no, I'm going to play as much basketball as I can. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to leave. I'm going to work out. I'm going to be around this person, be around that person. But then again, like you said, like the transgressions of life over the last couple of years, I would probably tell myself to go home a little bit more, spend a little more time with the family. And then the second one I would tell myself is be more of a tourist, like be more of a kid. That's the issue with that was the issue I had when I left, that I was so hell-bent on being everything I wanted to be that I forgot to, just be a kid. I left when I was 15. I'm not supposed to have my life figured out at that age. I'm not supposed to be this person or act this way or act that way. Do you know what I mean? I'm allowed to make mistakes, which I did. But like in my own mindset, I was very much like, no, can't do that, can't do this, can't do that. Very strict in that regard. So yeah, I mean, get home more and just be a kid, like live life the way I'm supposed to. Don't be too hard on myself. Don't be too strict in my my daily ongoings, so to speak. So yeah.
Yeah, it's good advice. Good advice. Look, for any young kids listening in, you know what I mean? That's perfect. And Puff alluded to it as well on his episode. He said, he's played all over the world, but only knows where the gyms are.
Yeah, and literally that, and that's kind of like what I was getting at. Like it's like I wish I was just more of a tourist in all the cities I've gone to. I've gone to almost every city in Europe. You know what I mean? I've gone to so many countries that I don't even know it. Like I used to play a game where I'd pick out a country on the map and I'm like, did I go there? Yeah, I did. Did I go here? Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, yeah, it's just be more of a tourist, like have that switch of balance from basketball to life. Do you know what I mean? So, but I've learned very well how to do that the last couple of years. But yeah, just something I wish I could have done earlier when I was in all these mad places.
Well, look, that's what growing up does to you. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
gives you perspective. There's a million and one. If I sat down with 16-year-old me, I'd have like a 4-hour podcast with him.
Yeah.
The amount of advice I'd need to give that kid, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
But look, that's what grown up is all about, is finding
Yeah.
your niche and finding
Learning.
Yeah, exactly. Look, second last question, Jordan, and again, delighted to have you on as our first, non-Super League
Yeah, man,
player.
absolutely privileged.
I've been dying to talk to you for so long. It's the first time we've actually connected, even though we've connected before multiple
Yes, yes.
times, but it's nice to actually finally sit down and get the measure of you, you know what I mean? And finally find out who you really are, and
Yeah, yeah, I
I was
appreciate it.
able to do it. So, second last question, dead or alive, 5 dinner guests to have to your house, friends,
Yeah.
family, or famous.
So I'm gonna go with 6 just because for the
Absolutely.
dynamic of it. So
Perfect.
first is my dad, 100%. Second will be Kobe, my idol. Third will be Denzel Washington.
Oh, my mom was happy with that one.
I just feel like his knowledge and just his like whenever I hear him speak, I'm captivated. So yeah, I love him. I would go Muhammad Ali, all-time great, couldn't. And then my last 2 would be Cat Williams, because I just like the funniest man in the world. Like myself and Puff actually watched one of his specials the other day, and like just every minute just dying laughing. Love Cat Williams. And then for like just the dynamic of it, Trish Nolan, who she was just like, Trish loves people and she gets people, and I feel like that's a wide variety of people right there. And she would be able to be like the mediator of asking and probing the right questions to get people to engage the right way. But yeah, Trish would definitely have to be at dinner.
Excellent. Now, follow on. What are we having? Who's cooking, or is it takeout?
I could cook. Yeah, given that we have so many athletes, probably just go something very simple with spaghetti bolognese with a bit of garlic bread.
Hey, you can't argue with a good spag.
You know what I mean? You have a good spaghetti bolognese. There's not a whole lot you can go wrong there. Yeah, bit of dessert. But yeah, so I would cook. I like to cook. So yeah, I'll go spaghetti bolognese for dinner.
Yeah, hey, look, I'm not fighting with you on that one.
Yeah, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
That's it. Like, it's a classic for a reason. So last question, who would you like to see on the podcast?
Who would I like to see? Well, from an Irish perspective, just Trish would be amazing to have on the podcast. Trish or Kyle. I think Kyle would be good because Kyle's had the pleasure of playing with some of the older heads, but he's quite a young head, and now he's an old head. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like he'd have a good dynamic of, like, he played with Niall O'Reilly, Shane Collin when they were winning everything, and then he had the transition of when they didn't have anyone. Then he went to Neptune. I think Kyle would be good, and Trish would give a lot of different perspectives from a lot of different roles. Like, Trish has been a part of so many different teams and so many groups of people that her knowledge is just very, very, in terms of like relationships and just being a person, her knowledge is just off the charts.
Yeah, that's a lovely thing to say about her, and sums her up perfectly.
Yeah.
She's a people person, that's it.
She is, yeah. She's just such a caring person for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll never hear anybody say a bad word about her. That's an amazing thing, Look, Jordan, thank you for giving up your time. Anybody wants to reach out to Jordan, he's on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Jordan Blount 13 or Jordan Blount. It's if it's not Jordan Blount, there's got 13 at the end of it, and you find me.
Well, look, any young players looking to reach out and find out what the next step is like, or looking to take that step, Jordan is the guy to talk to. He's done it all. Moving away at 15, turning pro, and down the line, big things coming.
Big things, yeah.
I'm looking forward to being part of the announcements.
Yeah, 100%.
Look, thank you for sitting down with me. Love to the family, and I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, man. It was a pleasure.
Man. So there you have it, the Jordan Blount episode. Best of luck to Jordan and the rest of the senior men as they tip off tonight against Andorra in their Small Nations Championships. Big shout out to the under-16 girls team who flew out today, which is Monday, to take part in their challengers. Thoughts with their head coach Andy Gill, unfortunately not being able to travel due to COVID. but best of luck to everybody else involved with the team. Head over to the Shot Clock podcast playlist, where you can find Jordan's songs to warm up to. And until Thursday, this is Jago saying, I'll see you on the court soon.